Mike Davis is the man, founder of the Article 3 Project, former law clerk for Justice Neil Gorsuch, former chief counsel for nominations for the U.S. Senate Committee on the Judiciary. The man knows what he is talking about. Hey, Mike, welcome to the show. Always great to have you with us, sir. Thank you for that.
Thank you for having me on.
No, we always appreciate it. What's the death penalty? Can this guy dance around the death penalty? I'm talking about the Charlie Kirk murder, Mike Davis. Is he not talking? Is he going to negotiate and try not to get the death penalty in Utah, sir?
That seems unlikely. I think that the governor of Utah seems pretty, seems in his public statement, seems like they're going to move forward with the death penalty if they find this guilty of murder, which it sounds like they're going to do, and it's because it's aggravated murder. There's also a federal death penalty. It's a little bit more narrow in its application for federal law, but this is a clear-cut case for the death penalty if they prove that this person actually committed Charlie Kirk, which, again, it looks like it's very likely they're going to do.
And this is the alleged shooter and all of that. Mike Davis, you know, sometimes you understand things a lot of us don't understand. But this is clear, and I'd love to hear your thoughts on this. How the left inflames the fringe, the crazies, like this alleged shooter of the great Charlie Kirk. I mean, it's dangerous now, Mike. It's dangerous how they tried it with lawfare that I want to talk to you about in a second, if I may. But now they're getting really violent, and it comes from the left just inflaming the fringe. Correct?
Well, it seems like the left is the fringe. It's pretty insane, and we've talked about this on your show before. Gender dysphoria is a very severe mental illness. People who truly have gender dysphoria, right? Those are the people who, in their minds, they think they are in the wrong body, and that's very tragic. It's sad. Those people need to be treated. Their severe mental illness needs to be treated, and that severe mental illness should not be affirmed, just like schizophrenia should not be affirmed. And that's what the left has done. They are preying on these very vulnerable people with gender dysphoria. They're loading them up with hormones. It's even worse than that. They're actually the left is actually creating a social contagion where they want these kids, these young people, to think it's cool to be a different sex, even though they may not actually have gender dysphoria. So they are making it cool for people to be transgender. Then they're having the transgender industry load these people up with lifelong treatments, gender-affirming care, they call it, where they butcher these kids, take off their reproductive organs, load them up with hormones, and they become permanent patients for the the transgender industry. And we're seeing an epidemic of violence among this subset of the population, right? Where you're seeing these transgender shooters across America, way disproportionate to the population of transgender people. And this needs to be investigated. This needs to be stopped. These states need to outlaw these transgender surgeries on kids. And I don't care if their parents did consent, whether it's because their parents are confused or woke, or I'm not sure what the hell these parents are thinking, but parents cannot give, in order to perform surgeries on people, they have to give their informed consent. And if you're severely mentally ill, you cannot give your informed consent, and your parents shouldn't be able to do it either. Your parents can't cut off your arms and your legs if you're a kid. So how the hell can your parents give consent to cut off your reproductive organs? This whole gender mutilation industry needs to stop. Yeah. It is cruel and inhumane to these very mentally disturbed kids, and it's creating a dangerous situation for society where you have these transgender shooters who are killing people.
Yeah, and what's the end game for these folks, do you think, Mike Davis? What is the end game? Why do they keep pushing this? And by the way, the trans community is so small, to your point. It's so small. And by the way, you and me, we don't care what you are, but we'll leave our kids alone. What's the end game for these people pushing this agenda, Mike?
Well, if you think about it this way, Joe, if you were China, what is the way as a enemy country, as China, what would you do to your enemy to completely screw up their society and to cause utter chaos within their society, to drop their birth rates, to destroy your enemy? You would create this gender chaos in a country, and you would get their kids to think that they're the wrong sex. Then we'd load these kids up with pills and surgeries. Then we would say that they're victims and turn them into violent animals within society. I mean, this seems like it comes right out of the Chinese playbook, because I can't think of anything more destructive for a society than what they're doing with transgender and kids.
Mike, right on the money. Boom. Yeah, that's a mic drop, man. Thank you, Mike Davis. That's exactly what it seems to be. Not to mention that the fentanyl coming in and all the drugs. It's a playbook. It's a classic playbook of communist China. Which is. Can I ask you, Mike, while we have you, before we let you go, about the tariff situation? We don't have anything. Do we have an inkling on how the Supreme Court? I don't even know why we have to go to court for this. Donald Trump's. I had the privilege of talking with the president on Saturday. We talked about if the tariffs. There's a lot of tariffs. Perhaps we can get a cut in taxes. And I chatted with the president about it, and he mentioned the Supreme Court. And I didn't get into it with him because I'm not astute about the courts as you are, Mike Davis. But the courts it's just ruining America. They're just ruining America. Where do we land with the tariff situation? And again, with the forum shopping on judges. And forgive me. I'm just fired up when we talk with you, Mike. Forgive me. Well, I want to hear about the Supreme Court, and then I want to talk about, quickly before we let you go, about Charlotte and how that gal that let out that killer of that beautiful Ukrainian girl wasn't even a judge. She was a magistrate. We touched on it before. What the heck's going on in the courts, Mike Davis? It's just nonstop insanity.
I would say this on the tariffs. Remember, the president promised the American people that he would issue these tariffs to fix our trade imbalance. The American people like what we heard, and we elected President Trump with an overwhelming electoral mandate. I would also remind the Supreme Court that the president is at his maximum power when he's dealing with foreign relations under the Youngstown Steel case. And so I hope the Supreme Court keeps that in mind, and they give deference to the President of the United States on these tariffs. And if there's any doubt when it comes to foreign relations, that the president wins when there's any doubt on foreign relations. And so that's number one. On this Charlotte murder of that young, beautiful Ukrainian girl by that monster, it's because we have these woke idiots leftists in these positions, like that dumb DEI unqualified magistrate judge who let out this murderer on bond. It's unbelievable, but that's what happens when you put dumb, woke DEI leftists in these jobs. It's not about racial equality. Far from it. These liberals are not supporting conservative women and minorities for these positions. They're actually viciously opposing them. So it's clearly not about racial or gender equality. They put in these woke, dumb, minority and women actors in these positions to give cover to their Marxist ideology, right? It's about Marxism. It's not about equality.
Yeah, it's so true. Yeah, that the magistrate, they call it a magistrate judge, never went to law school, never tried a case, never has it's so unqualified. And her name is Teresa Stoke, and I don't know how that happens. Mike, great chat, vital chat this morning. Thank you so much for taking the time with us, sir.
Thank you.
Mike Davis right there, founder of the Article 3 Project.